I like to check in from time to time about my own YouTube learning curve and how it relates to teachers. And this seems like a good time to do that because I'm about to celebrate my 2nd year anniversary of actively making these videos. And there's a big difference between my skill set now and when I started. This video is part of a learning curve playlist that I add to very gradually, maybe every year or so. There's a link in the description underneath this video. If you watch that playlist in order, you'll get a time-lapse version of my learning curve just by looking at the quality of the videos and how it changes. But I also use these videos to talk more specifically about the learning curve related lessons that I've learned along the way and how those apply to teachers. What I don't do in these videos is down my past work or make fun of my previous efforts, because I don't think it helps to be in the mindset of nitpicking your past self. In fact, the first learning curve lesson I want to share today is how important it is to be generous toward your past self. You have to appreciate your early efforts, even if they're not good, even if they are a little cringeworthy, because that's your first draft. Without those early efforts, you have nothing to build on. You cannot do something for the 10th time if you haven't done it for the first time. On a related note, when you're evaluating your own work, you need to put aside some emotional space for that because it does take a lot out of you to see something that you've done that doesn't meet your own standards. In other words, don't watch a video of yourself teaching right before you need to give a speech or go on a first date or be around someone who's mean to you. You want to be kind to your past self, whether it's your past self from years ago or your past self from the class before lunch today. The next learning curve lesson that I want to share today is the flip side of that. Be generous toward your future self. And that means remembering that what you do in the short term today compounds in the long term. A lot of times you hear the term compounding in the context of talking about money. If you put aside X amount of dollars per year into an investment account that invests wisely, that money will eventually start compounding and working for you. I'm not going to give financial advice to teachers because I am not qualified to do that. But your short-term goals compound into long-term accomplishments. If you can create a routine where you are constantly working toward short-term goals, you will see results over the long term. You want to be moving forward toward a goal that is meaningful to you. So for example, you don't want to do a crash diet that then on day 31, you're so hungry that you eat everything in sight. You want the type of goals that compound over time. You want to kind of like rush your way to each building block. And it should be something that you can see the end of, but it should also build toward a more meaningful goal, or it should be pushing you in the direction that you want to go. Another thing that I've realized is the amount of time you spend on something and the amount of time that it seems like you spent on it are often very different. And this can work in both directions. One of the nicest types of improvement as a teacher is when you realize there's an area where you're doing too much. Certainly it's important to work hard, but there are areas where how hard you work doesn't really correlate to how much your students are learning or how good of a teacher you are. And it is definitely nice when you figure out one of those areas because you may not get better as a teacher, but you can work a lot less hard in a specific area without getting worse as a teacher. And then you can use that effort for something else. And of course, that's the dream. You want that ultimate opportunity or that magic piece of advice that's going to solve everything. And every now and then, you do get a big break. But a lot of times, you're moving one step forward at a time. Or you may even feel like you're not moving forward at all sometimes, or you're moving backward. And maybe you are stuck, but sometimes you're not stuck. You're figuring something out. Clarifying your thinking is not a waste of time, and sometimes it does take longer than you think it will. But it's something that will need to be done for you to get where you want to go. You need to keep moving forward just so that you're ready for that advice that will move you miles ahead when you finally are ready for it. You can't steer a car if the car is in park. And I feel like that's what compounding is. Look at that stretch of road, focus all your attention on it. And when you get to the end of that stretch of road, the next stretch of road will reveal itself to you. And I'm really trying to say all of this without saying the word journey, but you get the point. And the final learning curve lesson of this video is that once you've made these goals for yourself, celebrate your wins, even the small private ones. And that is how I'm going to close out this video, because at the beginning of last year, around this time, I made a learning curve video and set a goal that I wanted to finish 20 more videos by the end of this year. And I'm very happy that I not only finished 20 videos, I will have 34 videos posted on YouTube for this year, which is almost double my goal. And I had to figure out new skills in order to make it happen. And now it's happened. And I always knew I wanted to celebrate in some way. And I had a feeling that I wanted to wear this shirt, which I just love this shirt, and these very festive earrings. And most of all, I knew that I wanted to put some coffee in a champagne glass and make a toast to the work that I put in this year and celebrate with you, whoever's watching this. So if you're drinking your own coffee, you can feel free to cheer me. Cheers to whatever we both did this year that we're proud of. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I feel like I'm making my best video yet. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll enjoy watching me learn this thing in public.